We're here with Brandon Mulvihill, co-founder and CEO of Crossover Markets. Hi Brandon, how are you?
Doing really well, thank you for having me. Really
How was the summit so far?
It's been, I've been coming here for years.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a phenomenal place to come to because it's just a breeding ground of folks from Asia and from Europe, and obviously myself and others from the US. And so you get on one flight, you come over here and we started first thing this morning with the breakfast, came in, walked around the show, just finished a panel.
Yeah, we'll get to that soon.
So it's been not even 1 o'clock, it's been a busy morning.
Great. You indeed, you know what, let's start with the basics. What exactly Crossover Markets do, and what was the market structure gap that retail brokers, among others, wanted you to fill?
Sure, so I'm one of 3 co-founders of Crossover Markets. And what we are with our product CrossX is an execution-only platform in the digital asset space, specifically in ECN. We were the first ECN in all of crypto. And so what we saw in the crypto space that made us found the company is we looked at the digital space and you have all these crypto exchanges. And what they really are at heart is a client-facing broker.
Correct.
Right? In retail FX, you would think of it like an IG group would be analogous to OKX or Coinbase, right? And then there's also institutional exchanges who would be analogous to like Finalto or IS Prime, right? And but they call themselves an exchange, and this has created a lot of confusion. And the reason is the technology they're offering is what's called a central limit order book. What that means is it doesn't matter if you have 1 client or 1,000, there's only 1 market data and 1 pool of liquidity.
Okay.
And so if you and I want to trade, let's say we're both hedge funds,
yes,
and we trade with the same exchange, and we call each other, we're going to see the same prices at the same time, and if you put a big trade on, I'm going to see it reflected. Okay? Now, that business model is fine. What we thought was odd is we found over 300 institutions around the globe offering crypto, and all 300 were operating the same business model. And we said, wait a minute. If you look at the FX market, you had central limit order books like EBS and Reuters.
Right.
Powerhouses did a great job, and you had ECNs come into the space like Kernex, like Hotspot, like Fastmatch, that really were disruptive for lots of reasons.
Yes.
And so at bottom, what we said is, let's put our hat into the ring, and let's become the first ever ECN and see if we can be disruptive. And the last thing I would say, I mentioned I'm one of 3 co-founders. My 2 other co-founders, one is a guy named Anthony Mazzarese.
Yes.
Who people might
years
know from
and years,
the FX
FXCM
world,
and
forever,
what have you.
Citibank, Jeffries. But our 3rd co-founder is a guy named Vlad Ryzin. And Vlad Ryzin previously was the deputy CTO at Credit Suisse, where he built a top 5 dark pool called Crossfinder in equities. Yeah. And then the FX world knows him as the co-founder and architect behind Fastmatch, which was an FX ECN that sold to Euronext. So we felt like we needed to have, money, clients, and tech, and combined. And so that was kind of the genesis of the team. Brilliant.
So now you take all this not so nation structure, and you were just off a panel about this market structure, which you were very involved in forming. So first off, thanks. Yeah. And second, what was new or surprising for you, or put another way, what are you most optimistic about after sitting with literally all the range of the market structure, with the broker, with Michael Higgins at Hidden Road, and the rest?
Everyone, it's this simple fact, is that the exchange business, centralized exchange business today, in totality, retail plus institutional, trades between 500 billion and 3.5 trillion a month. That's the wallet. And that's extraordinarily small. And our view is that that's going to grow by orders of magnitude with institutional participants coming into the market. One of the top reasons we're not seeing that growth happen faster than we all want is the cost to trade is too high. So if you look at the wholesale cost, right? People are paying between $500 and $1,000 a million. Retail pays between $4,000 and $8,000 a million. This
in
is
crypto or across?
Crypto. Okay. And so you look at our offering at CrossX, our default rate is 1 basis point, which is effectively $100 per million. And we're seen as the real cheap guys. And so what's happening behind the scene, right, is crypto has been, from a market structure standpoint, very immature.
Right.
And so what happens is the only offering out there from a settlement perspective has been this brokerage offering, exchange offering. The reason that's not great is you can't buy Bitcoin with exchange A and sell it with exchange B.
Because of what? Because of the hardships on the way?
Because from a settlement perspective, there's no fungibility.
Oh, you need to convert
right?
it and then
in FX, if you look at, like, for example, someone like Citadel, who's at the show today, right? So Citadel can price a retail broker in FX.
Right.
Retail buys euro, Citadel sells it, and then Citadel hedges, and both of the Citadel trades end up with a prime, so they're net flat.
Right.
So it's
which you can't do in the...
And so through Hidden Road, which is the first ever digital asset prime broker, they now provide fungibility. And there's two, the cost of trading is too high, but specifically there's two reasons there's high. Is the cost of capital is too high. What Hidden Road is doing is driving that cost down. And the other thing that's too high is the technology itself is too expensive. And our role at Crossover is, from the cost of trading, is to dramatically lower the cost of trading.
So if I bring this structure to the world or to the news and developments, how has it been in cross markets ever since the election results and the pro-crypto sentiment, without getting into politics at all? You see Brian Armstrong advising administration, employees to adopt crypto or seek other jobs and so on. So how has it been? Busier, more effort on tech, on infrastructure?
So yeah, look, you can't trivialize. It's been the most positive macro influence on the crypto space since I've been involved. And I've been in crypto now for a little over 2 years, right? And what happened before this is important, right? Because around this time last year, institutionally speaking, people were pretty quiet on the crypto front. Then what happened is the ETF came in. And the ETF, with a name like BlackRock, brought a lot of credibility to the space.
Which was much needed after the FTX, and last year in these conversations,
no question,
FTX was making headlines, so yeah.
And so on the micro level, what we see at CrossX since the election is not only are volumes up, it's consistent every day. The other thing that we see on our platform, the number of participants and the diversity of participants trading on CrossX. Right now we have just over 60 institutions on the platform in our first year of live trading.
Retail brokers, institutions?
We have retail brokers.
What's the rough...
We have market makers hedging on the platform, quant funds.
Okay.
Right? And so the diversity of participants is increasing massively. On the macro front, though, what this election has done is, I think people are going to see broadly in the financial market, but specifically in crypto, a significant increase in M&A activity, a significant
in the crypto space.
In the crypto space, even more broadly, but definitely in crypto, and also a significant uptick in the IPO market in the crypto space. You're going to see some big names IPOing in the US next year. Valuations are obviously higher.
Because public scrutiny is not what it was.
There is a fundamental and collective belief that the momentum behind a regulatory structure in the US is now palpable. It's real. Yeah. And we've already seen in continental Europe, there's a framework called MiCA, which we can all see and read. And in the US, there actually is a framework with bipartisan support, but there's been some pessimism on how long this is going to take to actually announce and install. And I think with the recent election, there's a lot more optimism on that front.
Okay, so there's a lot to look out for. We'll keep track. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Bye.